dedicated individual right there, right?
That was fantastic.
Like the captain of Titanic. Don't mind the water. Just keep playing.
That was awesome.
If you can't laugh, I don't know. So we're talking about the size of the disturbance.
Yeah, I think the landscaped area is probably less than 50 square feet, maybe even half that. But with respect to your question, Chris, I think that, and I don't have the code in front of me, so I can't quote it. I know, but
I gave a site reference.
You can recite from memory, right? Maybe off a letter or two, but.
I think that if existing impervious areas are there, they can remain, but no new disturbances are allowed without consideration by the planning board when you have the authority to review this under site plan. So I think it does come into play, but I'll double check.
I'm just thinking, are we going to actually make them make more, being it's already disturbed, having them go in to disturb it to put planting bed in, like,
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be one of the, I don't want to say better, but better water quality protection overlay applications you're going to get, because it is already disturbed, and it's a small area. It's like really small. But it is something that you have to consider, something you have to think about, something you have to make a finding for. So from my perspective, all the little legal boxes are checked. I think we'll have to look, how much disturbance they have to do to make up for it.
Yeah, I think the problem is that if they create the additional impervious area, they're already exceeding the coverage on the site to begin with. So to avoid them going back for a variance for a further degree needed and further non-conforming condition, that's where that disturbance kind of comes into play. So
isn't there like a concrete pad or something that can be dug up and planted with grass? I don't know. I have no idea. I have not been to the site.
and it could be as simple as, I think in the rear yard or the rear of each of those homes, you could create, just a foot, of landscaped area. I know it sounds silly, but again, to check those boxes and make sure that you're doing the right thing.
But it might be an easy solution, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
And poor David's never gets an easy solution.
No, David never gets an easy
So this might be an easy solution.
So that's something this board could agree to allow.
You could authorize it as long as you can make those findings per the riparian zone. But I think it's there. You know what I mean? Like, I think the use is residential. It's less impactful than the laundromat. The adjacent uses are residential, I believe.
yeah,
So
there's one commercial business across the street.
right. And if he does do the disturbance up close to the buildings, then it's as far away from the water body as possible, which is one of the things that you need to consider. So I think that in this case, it's practical to authorize it. The guardrail may be a little different because it's a little closer, and whether or not it's necessary, I think it's something that the board can consider from a safety standpoint. But that's.
if it's not one thing, it's another.
Somebody hit something.
Somebody hit something. There's the wire. Well, yeah, it like parlays in each other, right? If this board decides they got to put the guardrail in, then you're doing more damage to the riparian zone. Put the guardrail in.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just, if it was me, I'd roll the dice and just hope someone doesn't
Listen, learn how to park.
learn how to park their car.
And you can. That was just a suggestion. It's certainly not a requirement. When Phil weighs in on this again, he may say it's not needed, or, you can talk to him about his opinion as well.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah.
No clue. I can only hear you.
But no, I want, because I know Dave's got to, because we have to have a public hearing and Dave's got to put a submission. I want Dave to have his marching orders. Like, does he need the guardrail? Does he need the guardrail?
I would say no.
Yes.
It's going to cause more.
Oh, I can hear you guys now. I have no idea what you guys were saying.
Where we were saying that because Dave has to do another submission anyway. Let's make a decision on the guardrail now, so he knows not to, either does or doesn't know to include it in his next. And that's why we're talking. I agree with Tom. I don't think the guardrail needs to be there.
I would say no.
Actually, if a good curb on the parking lot could serve as a deterrent to that.
Yeah, but then
It's still a disturbance.
it's
though.
the disturbance, and then you got to worry about what's going to happen with the water once it pulls up against the curb. Because then he's got to deflect the.
Yeah, I didn't know which way. it flows.
To me, it's driver beware.
It's been like that.
It's been like that for how many years? I don't.
Exactly.
I think I think there should be a guardrail actually for the short-term disturbance, but in the long term of safety, 20 feet is not doing like a 3-point turn to get out of there. It's not that bad. It's not that big. But that's just my opinion.
How do you feel on it? Good with the guardrail? Okay, with the guardrail? Either way.
Make a decision. Yes or no?
Well, there's 3 of the board saying no, so.
Okay.
Okay,
We
so.
don't- We don't need a.
We don't need a guardrail.
Okay, thank
You
you.
get off a little easy there.
Thank you.
We still gotta do a public hearing, right? We haven't had one.
Yes, that's the next step, if you could schedule a public hearing.
On his next submission, should he put a little area along the house?
To make
Yeah.
up for, to make up for
Make
the.
up for the,
Yeah, so normally we request that there's not a submission made between the date of when you schedule a public hearing and a public hearing, unless you authorize the public hearing contingent upon receiving plans by a certain date. So I guess if you want to do it that way, we would need to know what day you're looking at, and then if you want plans, tell David when they have to be.
Well, I was thinking, because the 18th, our dance card's a little full right now. We have a couple public hearings already scheduled for that date, so if we did what is that?
The first?
The 1st. How quickly can you click your mouse? Wow, I did not get that word out. You think you can get it
November
in the next 2
1st?
weeks?
When?
Do you think you can get it in the next 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have your stuff in by the
October 18th.
18th, then we can schedule you for a public hearing November 1st. Is that amenable?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I'll offer a motion to schedule a public hearing on this application with the caveat that the applicant has his submissions in by October 18th.
I will second.
Second, questions? Favor?
Aye.
I think we got everything right for now. We got all you have any other questions for us?
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Board. I appreciate it. Could I?
So the second floor shows up on that 18th.
Yeah, that's, I'm gonna have to work on
I'm calling him
that.
right now. I'm calling him right now.
Text him from the parking lot. What are we doing with the second floor?
Oh, look, the lights went out. I can't do it.
Hang on, I got a flashlight. I can help.
Everybody's got jokes.
You know what? I bet someone let a balloon go and it got caught up in the fire.
Imagine that.
Actually, can I indulge the Board for another minute?
Sure.
I'd like to go back to 30 Valley Avenue, what we submitted last month and presented the fish market.
fish store.
Yeah. So we received the comment letter, and then we received subsequent emails from the decisions from the building department and things like that. So I walked out of that meeting with a green balloon, green light to go to the ZBA,
Right.
but I'm thinking there's a bunch of red balloons now stopping me from going to the ZBA. So I was hoping to just talk about that from,
Well, it
1
would
minute.
probably be best for you to do it. It's probably technical questions that Natalie would probably best answer for you. I don't know if she wants to do that here, or you guys just want to have a call.
Well, I actually don't really remember where we left off with that particular application, so I don't know that I'm a big benefit to have this discussion right now.
and I can fully appreciate that, because quite honestly, I'm not sure where we are with the project.
Was it that, actually, maybe everybody can kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that there were certain things that you needed to confirm with your client, and you were going to make another submission before the board authorized a referral to the ZBA?
See, I thought we were waiting for the building department to opine on certain matters, which they did.
They did, and I think that was to
Was in
help
our
you
favor.
prepare that plan for a resubmission. So,
I think we should probably have like a Zoom on Friday.
That's
and
fine.
Just kind of, is that, if I can send that out?
Yeah, is the board okay with the, yeah, so that's fine.
Okay, let me see, I have a meeting on Friday.
Well, you guys work out your dance cards, and then, but this board is okay with you
How's like 11?
figuring that out.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Have a great evening.
You too, sir. Have a good night.
Does 11:30 on Friday work for you?
All right, with no further business before the board, I'll offer a motion to close.
Second.
Second, any questions? All in favor? Aye.